Ladies and gentlemen, what is up and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking all about Black Panther Civil War and really answering the question, how good is the champion? And to give you guys the headline, he is absolutely ridiculous for Alliance War Defense, a very, very good champion. A lot of people still don't know how to properly play around or fight this champion because they haven't spent the time learning, but in today's video we're going to explain why he's so good and then also explain how to play around him because he's very similar to fight in the way that you would fight Mordo, and from the forums, from Facebook, from Reddit, we all know how many people just suck at fighting Mordo. So having this guy as an Alliance War Defender, I've seen screenshots from some subscribers where this guy has got like 18 to 30 kills in Alliance War. Granted, that probably wasn't at the highest tier, but especially in the lower tiers, he absolutely destroys because a lot of people have no idea actually how to fight this champion. And there's some stuff that you need to bear in mind with his abilities to actually, you know, fight him effectively. Now, two things about this champion that I think are worth mentioning. He has one of the coolest synergies in the game, in my opinion, which is skill domination with Black Panther and also Hawkeye. So this synergy node allows him to skill champions deal plus 25% bleed damage. Black Panther Civil War doesn't have a very strong bleed, but both Hawkeye and Black Panther do. So if you're ever in the scenario where you have this, a 4-star one, a 3-star one, and a 5-star one, which you could get for a certain amount of time on a team, that's up to 70% additional bleed damage, will make you your Hawkeye or Black Panther absolutely crazy. So good for that. And there are also a few other champions like Moon Knight and Elektra as well that can take advantage of that additional bleed damage. So there are some circumstances where you can have a little bit of fun with that synergy as well. So something I might, well, is worth pointing out, should I say. Now, the next thing is the signature ability of the Black Panther. And now for this one, we'll actually go to the 3-star variant so we can actually check it out. So Black Panther Civil War, in my opinion, has the worst signature ability in the game. He is a great champion unduped, and duping the character, in my opinion, does not really do anything for the champion, and honestly, I believe it actually hinders him. I think duping him is a bad thing, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but basically what his duped ability does is he begins the fight with his reflective state, which actually is the worst state for him to be in, because he's quite easy to fight when he's in his reflective state, and also his basically for every armor up charge you have a chance to absorb a heavy attack, and there's not really any scenario where I believe that to be too useful at all. So again, I think he probably has one of the worst duped abilities in the game, but that's just my opinion, and we'll explain a little bit more as we cover in his abilities what makes you know, his duped ability so bad. So let's talk about what makes the character really, really good. So when he's attacked, 60% chance to armor up. So this reduces damage from attacks by, well, 6.88%, very specific number. But as you can see, that is when he's attacked. It's 60% chance this stacks. That is also while he's blocking attacks, he can gain armor up as well. So the armor up itself, the damage reduction is nice, but it is the next thing which makes him really, really good. So well, actually, no, it's not that thing. What thing is it? So it's when stunned, right? So when this champion is stunned, and a lot of people are very used to playing with parry effects, so if you stun him with any sort of physical attack, so this is a physical stun like Scarlet Witch's stun, for example, is a physical one because it comes off a physical attack, or just a parry, that stun is reflected at the opponent, which is pretty great. It's pretty great. That leads to a lot of people being wrecked really, really quickly by this champion, because a lot of people, when first fighting this champion or the first few times, assume that it's just like any other champion. They go to parry, the stun gets reflected, and they get destroyed, and that's what really causes this champion to wreck so many people. So when fighting this champion, you can't parry, because if you do parry, you're going to get punished, and if you're in Alliance War, and literally you parry once, the champion is going to be so inflated from the node that you're going to die in that round of combos. So it's pretty much game over. And the way that you really land hits and fight Black Panther Civil War is it's by, you know, baiting the heavy attacks and also by baiting the special attacks. So those are the two ways, but obviously that involves getting hit, and the only characters that can really take hit without getting much damage are the variants of Captain America, which suffer from the class disadvantage of the Black Panther Civil War, because, you know, there's Black Panther Civil War is skill and their science. So yeah, makes it quite a long fight and adds more room for error. So that's really, really cool. So that's really what makes the champion so powerful, is the fact that not only can't he be parried and stunned, but if you do happen to accidentally parry, you get wrecked. You get absolutely destroyed. So let's talk about some of the other stuff that the champion has. So each time Black Panther gains an armor up effect, he has a 6.5% chance to enter a reflective state for pretty much under 5 seconds, storing 80% of the damage taken. While in the reflective state, his suit cannot trigger armor up, and that's the very important thing, is that while he is in his reflective state, you can parry, you can play as usual. So in my opinion, that's kind of like the disadvantage of having the champion duped, because if he's not duped, then pretty much from the get-go, he can gain armor ups, he can gain the stun reflect, and that's really good. That's what makes the champion good. Whereas in his reflective state, he can't do that. You just, you know, fight the champion as any other champion. However, there are certain combos where, you know, if he's in his reflective state, he's storing 80% of the damage, and then he goes into his armor up state, you parry, you get stun reflected, then you are destroyed. Like, that's going to deal a lot more damage, but pretty much in like Alliance War, if you were to get stunned, you're pretty much dead anyway. So the reflective state, in my opinion, doesn't really help too much, but it's something to bear in mind that you can parry, providing that he doesn't have any stacks of armor up. You can parry and stun the opponent when he's in his reflective state. Now, one of the things that I also want to mention, from energy-based attacks that stun, so for example, Storm's level 1, level 2, and level 3, and also Thor's level 1, level 2, and 3, because they're energy-based attacks, they actually don't stun reflect, so you can still stun the champion with any sort of energy-based attacks, but physical ones like, again, Scarlet Witches or Daredevils, or I believe Moon Knights as well, that is going to stun reflect and absolutely wreck you. So just keep that in mind, guys. And let's talk about the other stuff. So what do we have as well? Special attack 1, 100% chance to inflict bleed, dealing 80% of your attacker's direct damage over 4 seconds. It's pretty good, a pretty decent bleed for the most part, but again, in comparison to the, you know, classic version of Black Panther, who just has these like stacking bleeds which are absolutely crazy and deal so much damage, he doesn't really have much of a use as an offensive champion. He hits like a bit of a wet noodle and isn't a super fun champion to play. You're much better off, you know, if you do want to play a Black Panther, using the classic version of Black Panther. So yeah, just as a bit of a tip, guys, this guy shines in Alliance War defense, but when you're actually playing the champion, he's not super great. And then we've got Special Attack 2, which the damage from this attack is increased but based up to 90% based on lost health. So that's pretty good. His animations as well, one of the qualities of the character is his animations are really, really awesome. So that's something that's pretty cool. And then finally we have Special Attack 3, which has a 75% chance to stun the opponent for 3.25 seconds. So if you're playing this character and need a way to desperately stun the opponent, that is going to work like 3 out of 4 times. So something to keep in mind. But overall, I think this champion is really, really good for Alliance War defense. However, he's kind of easy when you know how to fight him, but still, if you put him on a stack node, he's going to cause a lot of people a lot of problems. But I just believe that I've fought him so much that I'm really, really used to it. In comparison to Mordo, I think that Mordo is like slightly better in my opinion, just because Mordo's like special attacks are a little bit more tricky to avoid, whereas Black Panther's special attack 1 just kind of lunges forward with 2 swipes, and his special attack 2 is basically a backflip. So they're very like short range melee attacks, whereas Mordeaux's abilities, the level 1 is a Soul Whip, which again bypasses through block as well, and you know, has a bit of a projectile to it, and his special attack 2, it lunges forward a bit. His special 2 is actually quite easy to evade, but the special 1 can be a little bit tricky. So comparatively, I'd say he's a little bit worse than Mordeaux. Mordeaux, yes, that's it. We got it right, but still a really solid champion for Alliance War Defense. Definitely in the top 20 champions for Alliance War Defense, and a pretty solid option overall. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed my thoughts and opinion on Black Panther Civil War, and you learned a little bit more about the champion, how to play him effectively and how to fight him. If you enjoyed this video, guys, feel free to leave it give it a like. That would be greatly appreciated. If you do have any comments, pro tips, or anything on the champion, again, do leave them in the comments below. One thing that I do want to quickly mention before we end this video is the Mordeaux is an amazing counter to this champion if you're like playing Mordeaux. So Mordeaux, basically whenever he gets stunned, he astral evades out of there and then instantly debuffs the opponent. So you can, when fighting Black Panther Civil War, now I don't know this for sure, but I've heard it from quite a few subscribers that, you know, if you parry and then get the stun reflected, that will reflect back onto Mordeaux, and then he'll astral evade out of it, put the debuff on the Black Panther, so you can just keep on doing that again and again and again to kill the champion. So that's quite funny in my opinion, and something that we're definitely going to need to test out as soon as we get the freestyle version of the Mordeaux. So guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you once again for watching. Take care and have an absolutely fantastic day.